Hey YouTube, Gunm here, and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today, I present to you the SMDC's first heavy cruiser. This is the Osprey. I just remembered something. Shoot. Of course I forget something right as I'm recording. I can't remember what those are, no. Always leave me to forget something. There's a billion lights. I'm looking for like 6. Where are they? The triples. There. Off. Okay. That's not it? I don't know what's going on anymore. So we have the Osprey. Yeah, I'm stealing names from Eve Online again, but I love the Osprey and Eve. The Osprey class heavy cruiser for space engineers. This thing is ridiculously well armed and armored. We'll start from the front. First off, as you can see from the sides here, a few industrial thrusters for Sage and a handful of mainline thrusters. Down here we have the primary hangar launch bay and a camera, which absolutely ruins the front, but oh well. Here we have the main bridge, absolutely surrounded, except for there, by heavy armor blocks. And it's also surrounded by a set of, well, a handful of Aidens, only 2 of them, because of the antennas taking over the other 2 spots, 2 Aidens, and a huge array of primary armament. Yeah. Button 1 here fires a set of 24 Little David guns, which are bigger in diameter than the big guns that everyone uses on their ships that I have used on my on my Vagabond class anti-air cruiser. So fire this. Okay, there we are. So fire the Little Davids. It looks like this. As you see, they spread out, but you don't want to get hit anywhere near the front of this. Is just a death zone. Button 2 fires the rockets. You can see where they are, just hiding in between the Little Davids. They are the 220 millimeter Ravagers. Then button 3 up top here fires some slow but steadily increasing torpedoes. Those actually have a pretty decent range. They increase in speed exponentially. And they have a okay-ish reload. It's pretty slow, but they do a ton of damage, and I've stuck a lot of them. I think the other one's got to detonate first. These things, rapid fire, they still can't. Boom. Little Davids, it does take a minute to reload this stuff, but that's okay. There we go. Woo. And there's the torpedoes again. Okay. So, as you can see, first off on the side here, on the top layer and bottom layer of both sides, there's an entire layer of heavy armor blocks. That is to help with protection. Because there are no weapons there, people want to shoot at this thing, they'll want to take out the weapons. Or they want to shoot it where there aren't weapons. The problem is, where there aren't weapons, there's a ton of heavy armor blocks. And when there are weapons, well, there's weapons shooting at you. And there's actually heavy armor blocks. As you can see, there's a layer of heavy armor there, up front, and near the hangar. On the side, excuse me, right here we have, besides solar panels all along it, we have the airlock there and down there on the bottom. We also have a pair of dual light cannons. We have some 300 millimeter side guns next, Yes, these 300mm side guns. Pair of CIWS, dual lights. Then we have a pair of M61 Vulcans, followed by a pair of 30mm Aidens, and some of the oxygen systems. Next, although I'm not sure about these solar panels here because of where they're located. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna just get rid of these and the other side. Because, yeah, just no. Oh! Leave it to me, screw something up in the middle of a recording because I'm terrible. Which, I actually have a nice, not so nice, little something to tell everybody in an upcoming video. You're definitely going to want to listen to it. It's happened at work. Okay, so 4 dual lights, 2 CIWS, 2 Vulcans, 2 Aidens, then 2 Boffers, 2 Aidens, 4 CIWS, 4 dual lights, 2 more 300mm, 2 more Vulcans, hangars, 2 more 300mm, 2 more dual lights, 2 more CIWS, 2 more Boffers, 2 more CIWS, 2 more dual lights, and a pair of additional of 300mm. So we have a total of 8 300mm side cannons. We have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 dual light cannons and 10 CIWS, along with 6, or not 6, excuse me, there's only 4. There are 4 Vulcan Gatling guns. There are a total of 4 Aidens and 4 Boffers on the side. The other side is identical. Coming to the back of the ship, you see there's a handful, by the way, on the side, yes, there's a lot of thrusters. However, it's not quite identical on the top and bottom because of those industrials. But on the back, we have a handful of industrials, a handful of these nice standard ion thrusters. As you can notice on the back here, we also have a handful of Boffers and Aidens. 4 Aidens and 3 Boffers top, and same for the bottom with a pair of airlocks. Also some laser antennas, and the first on my ships, Titan engines. Yes, the mighty Titan engine. This is the very first one that is in my mod pack. The other one is that turquoise thing, which I might put on the battleship. Maybe. I don't know. I might just call that overpowered. So, but yes, 4 Aidens and 3 Boffers. So you're not gonna find many areas where you're not gonna get shot up by a ton of guns. And the Titan engines are additionally surrounded by a huge amount of heavy armor, outside and inside the ship. You can't see it really, but, well, okay, not top or bottom. Well, actually, no. Well, okay, it's on the outside only. My bad. So not the inside, but that's okay. The outside, though, they are surrounded by heavy armor. So the other side's completely identical. What about the top? Well, this is where the big fun comes in. Starting from the top front, we have 2 Aidens, then 2 CIWS. I'm going to skip those for a minute. 2 dual lights, 2 Vulcans, 2 CIWS, 2 Boffers, 2 dual lights, air systems, 2 CIWS, 2 Vulcans, 2 dual lights, 2 Boffers, 2 CIWS, 2 dual lights, 2 Aidens, docking system, top and bottom are identical. Just to show you real quick, there we go, yeah, just, they're identical. 2 Aidens, 2 CIWS, more vents, 2 dual lights, 2 Boffers, 2 CIWS, 2 Aidens, 2 dual lights, 2 CIWS, and 2 Vulcans. So, in total, I didn't count this beforehand, I apologize. There are 6 Vulcans, 2, 4, there are 6 Boffers, and I'm pretty sure, no, there are more. There are 8 Aidens. So 6 Vulcans, 6 Boffers, and 8 Aidens on the top, along with, I forgot to count these. Oh yeah, 12. There are 12 dual light cannons and 14 CIWS. What does that mean? You're not getting any missiles near the top of this thing. And the top and bottom is where the majority of the firepower is for side weapons. Although there are 8 of these 300mm side cannons, which are not bad. On the top and bottom, there are 5 of these dual 300mm. So the side, there are a total of 8. Top is a total of 10. And they're duals, so they're going to focus you down with dual cannons pretty quickly. And these things can aim 90 degrees straight up from where they are, and they have a 360-degree rotation. So they literally have a perfect field of fire over the entire top of the ship. The problem is these. They only can aim 45 degrees in any direction. 45 degrees down, 45 degrees up, 45 degrees left, 45 degrees right of each individual gun. All the other guns have a glorious 90 degree and 360 degree firing area, but these side cannons don't. These broadside guns don't. They can only fire 45 degrees in any direction instead of 90 degrees straight up from sticking out, and then 360 degree rotational. All these other ones can point straight up and can rotate all around. Of course, not the guns on the front. There goes torpedoes again. Yeah, these Ravagers have a short range, about a kilometer or so, but there's a ton of them. The torpedoes have a 3.5 kilometer range, and there's 10 of them. And the little the Davids, I'm not sure. I am considering the Big Bertha for my battleship or Titan. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, this is better. I'm still deciding on that, by the way. This here is one of my Mark IIs, which will be inside. Let's show you in the inside. What am I doing? We're gonna go in from here. So enter in. You notice I've actually put in signs. I've completely forgotten about the mod. So you enter in. You head up through the airlock into this area, which leads you to some ammunition for the torpedo launchers, just in case. It goes to what appears to be hangars and beds, that direction. Stairs, more stairs. A bunch of coffee right here. Space coffee. There's 4 of them, because this is the middle. So, we have space coffee. If we go up here, which is the same for the other side, they're separated by like a couple meters. We go up here, we have a couple of guns to say hello, and a ton of oxygen tanks, along with the other torpedoes. Which, yeah, that isn't all the torpedoes. In order to get to the rest, you have to go into here, go up, to lead you to the ones on the bottom, and then go up there to lead you to the ones on the top. Yeah, so it's not so easy to get to all of them. It is for some. Now, we're going to follow this down first. Going down one floor, we have a bunch of, as you can tell from the signs, the food. And we have beds in there. We'll get to that in a minute. We have, well, what do you expect when you have food areas? We have fridges, we have ovens, we have sinks. Same on the other side, and a bunch of tables. Going down another layer, we have the main bridge. I haven't worked on the LCDs yet, but there's plenty of controls and me. Hello. So we have the main bridge. We have a couple of beds. Don't ask why they're there, but it's just emergency systems. And one of the hangars. This is the primary fighter hangar control panel, which you need manual control. This is the primary fighter hangar, not the support craft hangar. We'll get to that later. So that's the bridge. Now we go down another floor, and there's some of the Ravagers. We got on another floor, This leads to the bottom airlock, which also leads to a passageway that leads along the side of the on the inside of the ship. You can see where the passageway is right there. Excuse me. This passageway just leads from one end of the ship to the other, which up here that also does from the bridge. Now, back to the top. Where was I? Sorry. No, I wanted to. Okay. So going down here in this room by that hangar sign, we have a handful of beds, and heading out we have the upper, smaller support craft hangar. Also, there's a set of 4 hydrogen tanks just for support craft, and as you see, the doors to the hangar, which I forgot to mention, where the doors of the other hangar are, right next to the. Okay. Oh yeah. This area here leads to this massive array of beds. Now, in the middle of all this, if I can find where I am, I apologize for this. I'll just take it from the top and go from there. Okay, so from the oxygen tanks, I apologize. We go over the blah, blah, blah. I am so sorry for this. I am just terrible. I am so sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay. So going over the hydrogen tanks next to the oxygen tanks, you come over here, which this leads around, which is just a quick hot drop area to get over to here. So you can follow this up and around the hydrogen tanks, getting past the turret to one of the radiation rooms. This here is a set of big reactors with big cargo containers. There are 4 reactors and 2 cargo containers, the big ones. Above you on the sides are a series of small cargo containers, a couple turrets, and in the back here is a big empty area for some relaxation. And then this leads to the back of the ship. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to deal with more of the front. Oh yeah, there are plenty of oxygen production around the hydrogen tanks. The hydrogen tanks is a pretty big area for you to know of. And when you go down here, notice there's another radiation sign that leads into here. There are 4 nuclear reactors in here, big ones. That's literally all that's in this room, just 4 reactors for repair, if need be. Now, underneath those, we have, I don't think I showed this room. No, I didn't. Did I? I apologize, and I need the signs so I don't get lost, and I get lost anyways. How's that work? So yeah, this is here. Okay, and then down below it. Okay, yeah, this was that other room. That's why I have the sign, so I know where I am, and I don't know where I am. So, going from one end of the ship to the other, which, yes, a couple of the gyros are hiding here. These are the giant gyros. These are hiding, as you can see, by the passageway here, just above the hangar, the support hangar down here. Which, let's take a look at the support hangar now while we're at it. The support hangar has the ability for a lot of smaller craft, and you can have cargo ships, you can have mining vessels, you can have combat vessels, but small ones. Nothing big in this hangar. And you have the 2 doors on the back only, with a bunch of spotlights. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll go in from here. This is the middle area, which, if you take a look at it from, I can't really see it from the side, but going through this door, I apologize for giving you such a headache. Going all the way in the back of the boat, we have one of the rear airlocks. Hello. 2 nuclear reactors, and 2 cargo containers with the beacon hiding underneath. So, if we go from the airlock down and around, it just leads to a round with one of the gravity generators hiding there. Now follow this up a floor to in here, or not in here, it's up one more maybe? Or, no, okay, let's follow it up. We follow it all the way up, which that's actually open, so it's easier to see. We have gyros and the rear command cockpit area, which I just realized I don't have that as protected as I wanted. I again apologize because I am garbage. I'm so garbage about many things, but then again, I'm kind of emotional today, so we'll get to that later. Okay. So yeah, 2 rear gyros and the rear cockpit area, which has a lot of stuff. And no command chair. Again, garbage. Why do I not think? What do I need? I'm so sorry. Okay. So, going back down, so that's what you get when you go up. Going down here, we'll go down. Yeah, just you gotta travel it down a bit. You can see it there, but yeah, down here it hops out to the side, going to the 2 Titan engines. So bear that in mind. It links to the 2 Titan engines from there. And if you take it down again, all the way to the bottom, it has this area that pops out, follow it forward, and up. You have the medical room with cryopods. Back out of it. If you go back here, around here is the other airlock with additional reactors. You see there's 4 reactors, 2 gyros, and hiding in the middle is the jump drive. Yes, this ship is jump drive capable. This here is that passageway that leads the length of the ship all the way back to the front. It's literally, that's all it is. Although it is pressurized. 2 doors, 1 each end, and a few vents here and there. Now, if we follow this down and around, yes, you have a radiation symbol there. You have access to the reactors and the gyros here. Airlock, which you can go down. This literally just goes from one end to the other. This, that's access to inside here, which there, as you can tell now, it was hiding 2 additional reactors behind a bunch of batteries. You don't have access to those reactors except through this door, but you can get to access to all of them and the jump drive through there. So that's good. This leads to a mess right there. By the way, I'm going to show you this. The bottom, as you can see where these bottom units are, the bottom air units, there's a huge array of batteries and cargo containers just all along the bottom. And I just realized that was my mistake, because it built it inside the ship. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back now. Okay, I fixed that. So really it's by telling from where everything is from the underside, because that was building it from the top. I don't know why. So we were back at the jump drive and these reactors. So go from these reactors and the jump drive, which is through there. Oh, actually you do have access to those reactors. Okay. Do you? Or is there a 4th? No, that is it. So really it's just access to the jump drive that you get through that door. Okay. You can fly over there though if you want. Yeah. There's a lot of empty room, but there's a lot of stuff taken up so then. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's any rooms besides this hangar we haven't discussed. Medbay, Titan Axis, all the way up we have secondary command unit, lots and lots of cargo containers, all the additional thrusters all over the place, these reactors and cargo containers, and these gyros hiding, oxygen tanks, oxygen generators. We have the hydrogen tanks. Definitely memorize where those hydrogen tanks are. One great big room over here. And near the bottom is access to the bridge. This ship is kind of confusing, so the signs will help a bit. Apologies again for the coughing. So, this hangar, which you access right next to the bridge, the main fighter hangar. This hangar can hold 4 dragonflies, or you can hold some mantis, you can hold hornets, you can hold any combat craft if you would like. You can hold plenty of those little hornet attack drones. You can hold plenty of support craft over here. You can hold some mantis maybe in the middle, maybe some hornets, maybe dragonflies there, or mantis, or whatever you'd like. Then in the bottom here is the ready launch bay, which this bay here should be filled, by the way, before flight. You can have 6 ready to go dragonflies in here, just waiting. Well, you're gonna have to kind of bunch up the last one a little because of that force field, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Now, as for buttons, well, I've actually gone and made additional areas. I mean, additional buttons this time. For, I mean, not additional buttons, additional groups, because I figured out it's what button. I'm still learning this game. Okay, I'm still learning this game. I figured out a bunch of stuff. So, you have 3 groups now. Button number 3 is cameras. In front of the left guns, the right guns, in front of the cockpit. 4 is port lower hangar. 5 is port starboard hangar. 6 is top port hangar. 7 is top starboard hangar. 8 is the rear of the ship. 9 is the topmost cargo container. Now, that is under the third area. The first is button 1 is the Little Davids, button 2 is the Ravagers, button 3 is the Torpedoes, button 4 will open up this force field in the middle. Button 5 is not that. Button 6 is this. So button 6 opens up the primary door on the front, which, yes, it hides in there. So button 5 should be there. Button 7 will be the other side. Button 8 is up here. And button 9, of course, the other side. So yeah, it's good. And go to the second group. Button 9 here activates all the antennas. That also activates the laser antennas. So basically, if you're gonna go for combat missions, activate that. Other than that, just keep the beacon on. It's in the back of the ship near the jump drive. Now, button 8 is your spotlights. Now, button 1 through 7 is to activate idle movement of all the guns. Button 1 is all of your broadside guns. Button 2 is your Aidens. Button 3 is your bombers. Button 4 is your Vulcans. Button 5 CAWS. Button 6 is the dual light cannons. And button 7 is the big ones. Now, one thing I'm going to throw in as an extra is to fire these things. Shoot them on off. Just, if you want to see what it does. Apologies again. Alright, so, hit button 7. The big ones fire. As you can see, they have a okay fire rate. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. But they're 300 millimeters. Button 1, these side ones here, they do kind of shoot them each other. Horrible fire rate, though. The shells shoot each other, so bear that in mind. Button 2 is the Aidens, including the front ones and the rear. 3, boffers. Be careful, they will kind of shoot each other. So it causes a lot of lag to fire those boffers, so and the lag stays for a while. But they are very powerful. Button 4 is the Gatlings, which are incredibly strong and will just rip apart anything that gets near, ships or missiles. 5, of course, is CAWS, is really just for the missiles, not on this boat. Button 6 is your dual light cannons. Low rate of fire, but that's okay. I'll shut everything down. Close everything up. So just remember, you want to get to the bridge quickly, you go through here, the bottom one, go up a floor, and you're in the bridge. So go in the bottom, go up a floor, you're in the bridge. The front bridge, at least. This ship weighs 36,337,136 kilograms. It has 6.49 gigawatts for its reactors, 278 gyroscopes, 141 batteries, 660 thrusters. I don't know if that's counting the Titan engines. Probably. So, how does it fly? Well, I'll show you. Forward thrust is gonna be the best. I'm getting 18 frames a second, 20, 40. And stopping, though, takes a while, but it's not that bad. Now, side-to-side thrust is going to be pretty good with those industrial thrusters. Going to the left. I'm at 18 frames a second. 10, right there. Now, up and down is going to be kind of lacking. Yeah, there's 5. So up and down thrust is going to be kind of lacking. But then again, this is a heavy cruiser. It's supposed to be heavily armed. At 36 million kilos. Rear thrust is going to take a while. Of course, stopping this thing is easy. It'll stop in an instant. Now, rotation, well, you should know the SMDC by now. Rotation is ridiculous. So you are going to eat it with these Ravagers, but just be careful firing the Ravagers, as you will probably blow yourself up if you're not careful. So the Davids enjoy causing havoc. Be very careful with forward movement when firing the torpedoes, or side movement with the Ravagers. So basically just forward targets only. Don't try turning using anything but the Davids. So bear that in mind. But yeah, spinning and everything with so many gyros and a handful of big gyros. Let's see if I can't find them to show you how many there are. Probably near the bottom. Yeah. There are 6 ultra gyros and an additional 272 gyros. So this thing can shift. Throw in the solar panels, the oxygen farms, the oxygen tanks, the hydrogen tanks for the fighters. Yeah, it's good. This thing is designed for not just carrying, but servicing fighters and being a good assault platform against hostile positions. The Vagabond is really just meant to carry its fighters in a battle
and be a AA boat for large convoys or to escort small convoys. You know, large convoys like a large fleet with battleships and whatnot. But this thing can easily be a fleet on its own. I'd recommend not having it be on its own. But imagine just two of these things,
because of these torpedoes, the Davids, and all the rest of the firepower that it has. You're gonna be in for a world of hurt against one of these. And if you have two of them,
especially if one's staying back, providing support fire, the other one's hitting you in your face, and they both launch a huge array of fighters from the get-go.
so remember, remember what this thing is supposed to carry. 6 dragonflies right here. You can carry additional dragonflies or mantis heavy bombers. I would probably recommend mantis, at least a couple in the middle. So you can probably carry some mantis in the middle with dragonflies. Throw in some the ability to move them around with all this empty space here. Throw in some hornets. Throw in some crows, or not crows. Well, throw in whatever craft you want that can fit here or fit in the middle with some dragonflies in these spots here, or mantis in those spots. But definitely 6 dragonflies, or rather the Mark II dragonflies down here. Remember, the Mark II is basically just as maneuverable as the Mark I, but has way more firepower with a huge array of rockets, and gives up its Gatling guns for its scatter cannons, but a huge array of rockets on this thing. So if you have a bunch of those, someone might say, why the mantis then? Reasons. Besides the fact that the Dragonfly is the Mark II Dragonfly is incredibly expensive to make compared to the Mark I. But basically, you just slap on a ton of weapons. But okay, I'm working on a Mark II Mantis, by the way. But yes, you can fit all sorts of heavy combat craft in here. Up here, not really meant for combat craft, although you can if you want to. I don't recommend it. So the first thing you do, you go into combat, you hit button 6, open up this hatch, give them the green light. The 6 Mark II Dragonflies in here zip on out, raising hell. When they're all clear, hit button 6 again. That'll close it. Button 4 to deactivate the force field. Have stuff that's in here go down here. Load them up, get them ready. Then you go up here. And, well, those guys do whatever you want with button 9 here. 5 and 7 will recover your craft. And your force field goes when needed. Keep the force field active when this door is open. When that door is closed, you can deactivate the force field. So, yeah. And we have these side lights here, which don't work, apparently, because they're DX9, not DX11, and this game is DX11. The Osprey Heavy Cruiser. I love the Osprey in EVE Online, and I'm going to love it here. Lots of connector points, by the way. And yes, as you have noticed in the previous video, it can fit within here, although not too easily lengthwise. It's not that big. Widthwise, it's not that fat either. It's bigger than the Vagabond by a lot. And height, it can fit within. You can actually fit 2 of them side by side. That's how I designed it. It's designed that you should be able to have 2 of these things side by side. Although it's a little tricky to get them in there, it is absolutely doable to get 2 of them side by side in here. Be very careful with maneuvering, though. But yes. So imagine 2 of these monstrosities. Oh, I need to stop. I need to stop. Okay. So yes, you can get 2 of these side by side inside of this crucible. And you have plenty of docking locations as well. From the ones on the top and bottom to the ones on the side, it's designed for this thing with more interest for this to handle it. So yeah, the Vagabond wasn't really designed for that. It's just the absolute maximum what you can stick in the small. The medium is designed to carry these ships. They'll be barely able to design my heavy battleship that I'm working on in my mind. But yes. So, Osprey, Heavy Cruiser. Next I need to build a battleship. And I need you guys to tell me options for this, which is going to be the large, A, B, or something else represented by that there. For say, do you want A, which will be the idea from the other two, or because it's so gargantuan, more like this, which I like. B, please, somebody mentioned in the comments if you want A or B for that, or something else, which will be C. It's just going to be really big. And that's going to be the large, in case you can't figure that out already. Alright. Tune in soon for another video about something not so good for me. Catch you later.